Okay, so welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is the episode number 2022, 22nd episode of the Coffee Break. Thank you very much for attending all the way, and hope you are having a good time. And so let's start with you. So just to summarize again, this is a very open space, like bring your own coffee, and let's talk about Forge topics. And let's start with you. If you have any interesting topics that you like to bring up, any questions, anything that is going on with your development, let's start there. You can open your microphone and you can open your camera as well. I see a lot of new names here, so welcome everyone. Oops, sorry, come back here. I think I interrupted someone. Yeah, I think Bill, you were the one trying to talk, but I cannot hear you.
Oh, hello. Oh, just saying hello.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So any questions, any topics that you'd like to bring up? Let me stop my sharing.
Yeah, I've got a question. It's a kind of semi-technical question about the Forge. Am I right to ask a more technical question? Is it?
Yes, sure. Any questions,
Okay.
anything?
I have just been working with the APIs to integrate into our web service, and these refresh tokens. So I don't want to have to keep logging in. How do you suggest storing the refresh token? We're thinking about putting it in a table in our own database with like a with the username, so that we can hold on to the refresh token in our backend server. Or do you how do you do it? Or do you just use cookies, or how do you get around that with your kind of BIM 360 browser? I mean, you only have to log in once, and then that's it normally.
Yeah. There are different ways of implementing this. I think there is a blog post that I did a while back.
Oh, okay.
And then Adam wrote something about that as well.
Okay, right. That's
here.
fine. Yeah.
So this is an extension, and this is the first one. Actually, this is not. There is not that much code in here. It's just showing you how it works, explaining how it works in case you're missing some of the information.
Mm-hmm.
And here are some additional on how to handle that, refresh, etc. What we do on our samples is that you have a database. On that database, you keep the current access token, the refresh token, and the expiration date for them.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
kind of what I think we were considering ourselves. So yeah, that fits in well. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have some samples on that. I believe .NET and Node. So if you're using one of those languages, we can definitely share the samples.
Okay.
And it's just important to notice that the refresh token can only be used once. So every time you use it, you get a new one.
Yep.
And the refresh token is valid for 14 days. So after that, you have to refresh every 14 days to summarize. And the best way to index them is by something that like the user ID from Autodesk. So you always have one access token for each user ID, so you're not messing up.
Okay.
Yeah, one other thing to note when it comes time to storing it in a database, you'll be storing the refresh token and the continuous refresh tokens in the same place that you store your Forge client and Forge secret.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to get a refresh token, you need that Forge key and secret.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's going to need to be fairly well protected.
It's currently, we currently have all that up on our, we have a backend web services, hsbcservices.com, and that's where all this authentication is done. So it's private. So we have all the client secrets I've got about 4 or 5 Forge apps in order to connect to all our different, we have beta servers, alpha servers, production servers, and they all have to have an app to connect. So yeah, we have all those client secrets stored away in our backend service. So it would just be a connection to our MongoDB to store these additional refresh tokens for the user, or the Bin360 user ID.
Yeah, and do keep note that too. You will be replacing the refresh token. Every time you every 14 days basically.
Yeah.
So it's one of those weird cases of having high security on forged key and secret.
Yes.
And a refresh token, and that unusual circumstance we're actually modifying that data store as well. It's a little bit just a little bit different in terms of security.
We kind of had to do it for our own system. We also have to do it. We do it for a number of other storage systems like Dropbox and Google Drive. We have all that authentication as well, so that we can, and S3, so we can publish our data to anywhere that a customer wants. So I think we haven't done Bin360. Well, we are. So we're in the progress of doing it.
One more thing to note that I've noticed is when for some reason the refresh token fails. So there's the odd chance that you miss the 14-day window, or something what's the word it is reset on our end, and you'll probably want to just prepare a user interface system. So the way you prime that refresh token is you need to provide a login box to your user in the first place. You want to factor that in on the odd chance that the refresh token. Once you lose that loop, then you're going to need to prompt the user to re-log in again.
I'm kind of using the existing login mechanism where you can you just attach to your application and Autodesk handles it. It's working, so
no, that's great. Yeah, you'll need a login button. Yeah,
it just gives you a login button, and obviously if you're not logged into Bin360, then it'll take you to the login, and once you've done that, it will then connect to your app, and then you get your callback. So I've got all that working. It's fine. I think I did that about 2 years ago, but we've had to have another think about Bin360 recently, because we believe it's important to connect to Bin360, because a lot of customers have got a lot of data in there, and we're trying to kind of connect Bin360 data directly to our ACA platforms and Revit platforms, and so it's important for us, I think, to do this.
So I just have a question. You were saying MongoDB, etc. Would you mind sharing a bit more on what kind of host and database you have? Yeah, I mean, don't share anything that is confidential or security. I'm just curious to understand what kind of databases you have and where you are hosting them.
We're hosting them. I'm not 100% sure. There's another chap who kind of does a lot of the back end server stuff, but we're using a company. There's a company that we use that hosts them, and they kind of they just deal with everything. And we have an interface, kind of like a web interface that you can configure the tables or the pages, I think they call it in Mongo. And it's been very good. It's seamless. So it's all delegated to another server, and that handles all our database. Again, it's actually really quite straightforward. There's lots of web interfaces and all sorts of integration that's provided by this company. I think they're one of the biggest suppliers of a Mongo. The Mongo.
And you have your own Mongo instance, or do you run it on a managed service?
It's run on a managed service. Yeah, okay, it's all managed for us. Yeah, and we can up the performance. I think we've got it. It's relatively low performance at the moment, but it's all about money. Yeah, so how much you want to spend. So we know that we can go much faster, but so far we don't have a lot of users, to be quite honest. So this is still early stages on on our share development, on our web development. So, yeah. Yeah, we
Great,
just
thank you.
hope nothing goes down. But that, again, that's money. If you pay
Yes.
for full backup and service, they'll get things back up online very quickly. But it is very, very rarely do we have a problem.
Thank you.
Just wanted to
sorry,
say hi to
Bill.
Bill and Jill.
Hi, Jeremy. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
See you guys. Yeah.
Hey, Amy.
All right. Hey.
And I missed it, which you have a nice, I think, inventor background. What is that? No, it's a browser, right? On
That's their app.
yeah. What's the name of the app?
It's HSB. I think it's hsbcad.com. That's our web cloud service, and that particular example is it's about 4 models in one viewer, so we can have up to as many models. I think you can do that in your board, yeah, but we can also do it, and it's actually a construction. It's our business, which is construction. So you can see the pieces of timber for the wall framing, but it's also got the MEP from Revit. So we have a Revit MEP, ACA construction, all in the same thing, in the same model, and this is also available in VR as well.
Oh,
You can walk around the whole thing in VR.
Yeah,
So
let's definitely plan to have you, if you want to, of course, right? To have you showing that to us sometime.
Yeah, we do have some things prepared here, Bill. So we are also linking the entire solution with BIM 360. Might be an opportunity here to show it.
Yeah.
Augusto, if you don't mind, I can begin
a
couple of slides just to present our company, who we are. So I guess it's a little bit rude that we start like that. But yeah, let me share my screen really quickly.
Bill and they were part of one of the first accelerators that we had back in 2015.
Oh yeah, okay, excellent. I think I got okay. Yes, I got a bit confused because I remember hsbcad showing today, but I didn't recognize the app from Bill. Sorry, my bad. I think it's too early in the morning. I did my 3rd coffee. Okay, go ahead.
Coffee, man.
Yeah, I have 2 already. So I'm starting to.
You had 2 already. Oh my God, this makes me want to go skiing.
I have a very good morning alarm.
You're supposed to be focusing on the nice building over there, prefabricated. So hsbcad, we're an offsite construction software company, and so little about us is what we do. We do a range of 3 different products for design, manufacturing, and assembly. So for design, we have applications or plugins for Revit and AutoCAD architecture. So we do range of modules for them, such as CLT, stick frame, post and beam, SIPs, glulam, or even actually log construction. And then so we have additionally, so we take the software all the way from the architect specification to complete building. So that's why you have design, manufacture, which is HSB Make, and finally HSB Share for the assembly and sort of overall cloud platform, which actually interacts with Forge, or should I say BIM 360. So specifically today, I would like to talk about a little sort of challenge that we're trying to go through the motions, and Bill is actually, Bill is mostly going through the motions, implementing this. But the problem is where you have, you want to have a connection between BIM 360 and what we're doing from architect specification to a complete building. We're using BIM 360. We're using Share to have that connection. So we pick up the architecture model from BIM 360. We have the HSB Share to connect to BIM 360 and interpret the IFC model. And then finally, we push from HSB Share to HSB Design ACA to map the IFC objects to hsbcad objects. you can perform some post-processing on those objects and generate CNC files, let's say. So specifically, our customers such as CLTS, hsbcad, and Storenzo, what they do normally, they use, so they have this architectural proposal, architectural model. They share this information through email or Dropbox, and then the imported IFC from the architect gets redrawn manually by the manufacturer. And you can imagine that could waste a lot of time. Then after that process, using our software, manufacturers add toolings, create nesting for the panels, and generate shop drawings and CNC data. So the proposal here from the previous slide is to take out these initial 3 steps, simplified by using BIM 360 and its advantages of having that sort of collaboration in one place, but having that integration with our softwares from hsbcad, Design and Make. So, and I think Bill has a little bit prepared for what his journey was trying to integrate ourselves with the BIM 360. If I stop sharing my screen, here we go.
Okay. Share my screen. Okay, everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to run a video mainly because I wanted to keep it within a time limit, so but it is actually recorded live. So I'm just going to let it run and I'll try and kind of keep up with it, talking about what's going on. Okay, so here we go. So here we're logging in to connecting to BIM 360 from our share UI. We now have a tree loaded in. We have a coffee break project, which is in BIM 360. We're going to create a share project from the BIM 360 project. It's in share now. We're now going to link this project to that coffee break. So these guys now connected through just a simple ID. We're now going to take a IFC file from the 360, and we're going to actually commit it to our share application. So we have a similar thing to Forge, where we have to translate the viewable file into a viewable file within share. So that just takes a little while, not too long. It's running an automation service that we have just developed. So that is now the IFC pulled directly into share. So it's now exposed in our world. We're now going to very quickly create what we call an import set, which is we want to get objects into ACA, which we can analyze them and then create all our CLT tooling. So this is a service that we're now beginning to offer via a browser, or without any installation of hsbcad. And so here we're just creating a small set. So this is from IFC, picking the objects. These are just solids with holes and toolings that we don't really know anything about until we get it into our core backend server. It then can analyze. Here it is. I'm going pretty quick here. So this is the import of that model, and it's now in ACA. And you can see that there's the import set. So this is directly come from the cloud, directly from BIM 360. This is now CLT panels in HSB world with all the tools. We then return that model has been returned as a CLT construction. So they have 2 models now. We have the IFC architectural intent and we have the construction. So this is what we would then have, which are to create CNC data, and you could actually then make it in factory. So you can see this is the actual finished article with the solids, with the toolings, and you see I'm going to isolate this particular panel here, and you can see these little cutouts for MEP. These are actually real CNC toolpaths, and so this is now being completely analyzed and by our ACA environment, and of course it can be done. And here you can see we can actually see the 2 models superimposed, and we can use this for clash checking and maybe some measuring or whatever. So that's the process. There's a couple of other things that we'll just quickly go through. Is we can actually pull the issues in. I only did this like yesterday. So we can now pull the comments and issues in from BIM 360. This will automatically be loaded into our issue table so that we can not see it in a tree view, which isn't very nice. So you can see here, we've also downloaded the PDF, which is a document within BIM 360 directly in Share. Then you can see here, this is the issue dialog. Well, this actually will be propagated directly from the issues of BIM 360. So the user will just be thinking they're in Share, but they'll actually be looking in BIM 360. So here's the document management in BIM 360, access directly from Share using the link URLs that you provide in your API. So that's it. It was really fast, but I think that's the intention. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Any questions, or let me just stop. Stop share. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I have one question. I have several, but I'll start with one. When you do the CNC, is that something that is used in design automation? How,
the CNC generation is done. It's really one of the core parts of HSB. It's taking a kind of solid shape with holes and beam cuts, and it's creating tool paths from a CNC file. That is very much part of HSB's what we do. We drive machines, so what you saw there was actually taking an IFC, which it doesn't really have any tooling. It doesn't have the tool paths defined. It doesn't, they just think of them as arbitrary solids. They just exist as B reps, if you know what that is. So it's just a load of faces. So, but we can analyze that. We have some very clever logic on our kind of back end to analyze that and make it into something that we can recognize, and we can attach tool paths. That's kind of our core. One of our core, core thing that we sell is the ability to create tool paths, because ultimately you can, as an architect or a building designer, you can design something, but can you make it? I guess we're in the business of making things, making it actually on a machine. And I guess what I showed you there is quite a nice process. It's being used more and more by our customers. They get sent IFC models and they say, can you make it? There's no like definition of how to make it. We do that for you. But to connect it to BIM 360 means that it's already in their workflow, because they may well start their project in BIM 360, but they want to make it, and let's make it via Share, via BIM 360 seamlessly. And so I think it's a nice route.
It's an interesting question that you have there, Augusto, about using the design automation. It's already something that we have tried in an accelerator as well, in order to use it and to link it up with our platform as well. We did it once as a proof of concept to automatically create the CNC files through our design automation, but it's definitely on our roadmap to do at some stage, but we haven't done it right now. So interesting, definitely.
Gil or Bill, are you guys using the model derivative service to produce or export IFC files from BIM 360? In other words, convert into IFC, or you guys already doing, you're not using that at all in your process?
We can export directly to IFC from our main applications. We have a kind of what we call an exporter framework, which is completely external to our main applications and driven by a single data source. So we can run it in our we have an automation server ourselves, which we've just put online. So we can write IFCs directly, just using, one of the, I think it's what XBIM is the library system we use. so yeah, that's taken care of. But we used to use the Forge viewer years ago. In fact, we were on that accelerator course, but we've kind of written our own viewer, mainly because you know, we felt that we were a little bit more in control of what we wanted to put in there. But it might well be that we want to go back and integrate the Forge viewer inside Share as well, so that we can see your models rather than bringing them into Share. We just want to view them. So that may be something we'd consider doing.
Yeah, that's correct. I think that also has to do with the level of detail that is needed in our specific market and business, and that's for that reason I think we went onto this route, but it doesn't mean that we cannot use.
We have a lot of custom objects in ACA, which you need object enablers, and of course we could do it on your automation service, but ultimately you can't see our beams or our CLT objects. They're only visible to us. So that's one of the reasons we kind of went down our own route.
Sorry, I want to ask you, do you use by any chance Revit in this whole workflow?
Yeah, absolutely. This whole workflow I showed you can be directed directly into Revit. So yeah, we have it's no different. It's just we're able to communicate to these ECA and Revit using the same interfaces. So absolutely, and it's very important for us to do that. The Revit is very much the future.
Yeah, we have on both platforms the plugins, and they actually do the same. So definitely both things are possible there.
I want to know, is it a natural integration with the way you do things, or you just, let's say, export to IFC and re-import to Revit? Like the libraries, the families are already there?
It isn't like a cloud. It's not as integrated as Autodesk has with, you know, where you can, I think you can, in Revit, you can run a kind of cloud integration, can't you? We're not that integrated. We take it tends to be version snapshots at the moment. But
yeah. Bill, just I want to say, I think we are one of your client through our partner in the States, Soter, I think is one of your client, and so we are one of yours.
Okay, cool.
You say Sodra?
Soter, they are a timber manufacturer.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, we are all connected.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Any other questions?
Hello, Augusto. Yeah, I have some question. Just have some comment about IFC exporter. So when I initialize models through the collaborate button to BIM 360, I can't export IFC through the process of limit. I have exceptions there. But if I save it as a cloud model through the file option, it works fine. So design automation exports IFC correctly.
Okay, so this is not about presentation, it's about design automation exporting IFCs, right? So you're saying that when you do a model path, it doesn't save? Sorry, I think I missed.
No, so I have a model, and if I want to initialize it in BIM 360, I can push collaborate in cloud, collaboration button, and it will be initialized as a work shared model. Through that pass, I have an exception, like process limit exception in design automation, but if I click file option and save as cloud model, it makes, I think, the same, but IFC exports works fine for that.
Okay, so saving work shared from design automation, I don't think that's supported. I would have to check that.
No. So I have two models that are the same in BIM 360. One of them was saved through the work shared button, like collaborate in cloud. Another was saved as a cloud model. For one model, IFC exporting doesn't work through the design automation, but the model that was saved through save as cloud model, IFC export works.
Oh, okay. So the IFC.
So that was those my work items IDs that I provided to you for the same models that some of them works. Yeah. So I don't have any comments about those issues.
So that's the difference between them. The models are coming from work sharing and non-work sharing.
Yeah, but all of their behavior is the same. So they look like work shared models. In desktop connector, they're shown as work shared models, and everybody can connect to them and commit changes there.
Okay.
And so maybe you can look to it better if you can.
I'll send that information to the design automation team. So just to give context to others, we're discussing a few weeks back about design automation not being able to export IFC. And the conclusion we had from the development team at that time, it was a memory problem, right? So the machine was not capable of handling such a large IFC. So the team was looking into memory management. But now you're giving me some additional information that the ones that are failing are most likely coming from work shared modules. Okay, so I'll definitely pass that information along, and that can help them investigate if there's something specifically there. Maybe the way the memory is managed on those modules can affect that. One thing that happens on IFC, so on design automation, is that there is no, like any other machine, there is a specific memory allocation for that machine. So the team was looking into how can we change that. Okay, thank you. I will definitely forward that information. Yeah.
Also, I have an additional question to presenter of this presentation. Maybe do you have any tool for exporting IFC from Revit?
Well, it's just
a native. It's native.
Yeah, to build.
It's a native. You can just natively export IFC from Revit. It's not. There's no. You just go export as or whatever. I think it's just an option. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'd like to automate this process without clicking export from the Revit and to do it from BIM 360. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you have a Revit model in the cloud, and you need to create an IFC. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think the Autodesk guys would need to answer that.
Does Model Derivative not support IFC export for Revit files?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and does Navisworks as well. So like legacy or standard works.
Yeah, I believe we mentioned that before, didn't we, Volodymyr, that you can do that with Model Derivative. That may be better in regards to memory management, because Model Derivative has different types of machines depending on the size of the model. The main difference is, just for awareness, is the price, right? So Model Derivative is a fixed price, and design automation is based on the time that it takes to consume. So maybe that can something that can work for your models that are not working.
And also the quality of the IFC conversion. So having a choice between using Navisworks to convert the file or Revit engine to convert the file.
Yeah, you're right. But in our purpose, we'd like to export only some views, not whole the model, and also to use family mapping file and IFC export options file. Seems to me that we are exploring Model Derivative API, and it's not really supported. in the case. So we need like Cloud Rabbit instance to do that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let me. Any other questions to the presenters of today?
I had a quick question. Sorry to segue away from ISD. The viewer that you guys are using as 3JS looks like. What did you guys use for your transparency system? It looks like it's order independent transparency, OIT.
We're just we are using 3GS. You mean the kind of what you mean the kind of gray that we get, that slightly the see-through objects that aren't, is that what you meant?
Yeah.
It's actually just a material with you know, the translution or what, there's a setting where you 0 to 1 and you just say I want it 0.2, and so you'll be able to see through it. So yeah, we have a whole load of materials. I think you probably have them in Forge.
It's all good. No, that's cool. No, it's using just the stock standard 3JS transparency then. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, quite a lot of my knowledge of 3GS was from the Forge, because it's got that used. Are you still using 3GS, I guess, in Forge?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
I have a small question to the Autodesk team regarding this. So from what I read on the internet is that you guys started with like an old version of, well, at the time it was a new version of 3GS, but you kind of branched out and completely did your own thing where you have an updated view of 3GSs, right?
I'm so keeping out of this one.
No, you can't. You have to answer.
Yeah, so the viewer uses the Forge viewer we have today is based on 3GS 71, which was the latest when we started developing the viewer. As we had no custom code embedded, the Forge viewer is actually a fork out of 3GS. So that's why as of today, we are locked into 71. But you can use additional features from 3GS. But the viewer itself is locked into 71. We have some discussion if you're going to migrate to a newer version. If you have some concerns or no requirements to migrate to a newer version, please send that to us. We're very much interested in understanding more why it would be interesting or needed to move to a newer version. Yeah, please send that to us, forge.help@autodesk.com. We're definitely interested in understanding more.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah, interesting question. We are just a bit over time, so let me just remind you that this is, let me move this here. So this was the 22nd episode of the Coffee Break. And thank you very much from our friends from hsbcad for presenting today. We're definitely going to share the presentation, the recording on Twitter, just like we did before. The next Coffee Break will be June 2nd. On that coffee break, my colleague Jaime will be hosting you guys, and yes, he gladly accepted to be the host. I will be taking a few weeks as paternity leave, and I need to get some sleep before that, and it will be a fun time. So Jaime will be taking care of you June 2nd and the one after that, and hopefully we'll be back by end of June if I'm still alive. But yeah.
If you're still alive, boy.
Yeah.
Very dramatic, huh?
Yeah. I have to put some drama because it's summer. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck, Augusto.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good luck.
Lot of coffee for you.
Lots of coffee. All right. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining today, and hope to see you again in 2 weeks. Same link, same time. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Manny, by the way, yeah, a little shout out to the Reconstruct guys. I did see the AU proposal. It looked pretty good. Just sort of shout out.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
You guys.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.